You're listening to ResultsLeader.fm. Being a thought leader is easy. Getting results is hard. This show is for the results leader who lives and dies by their results. Here is your host and Chief Results Leader, Jonathan Rivera.
Yes, y'all, it is time once again for another Results Leader FM. I am stoked that you are here because today's guest is going to share one of my closely guarded secrets. In fact, when we talk about it, you'll know exactly what it is because I tell you that one secret is what has led to all of my success in life. And he's the same way, except he's much younger, got started earlier, and is killing it today in real estate, in crypto. He's got multiple streams of income, and he's going to share all of that on today's interview. Here is Mr. Brian Sigmon. Brian, my man, welcome to the show. This has been a long time coming, like a week. So glad to be talking to you, man. You ready to rock this thing?
Yeah, let's rock it, man. I'm really excited.
All right, let's get into something that will give our listeners a quick win. What book or books have you given most as a gift?
That's a hard question. I don't give a lot of books. I give a lot of gift cards because I always get gifts at the last minute. But I can tell you, like, the best book that I read of late was Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. That like changed my life. Basically, he talks about like going helicopter skiing, right, in your 20s or 30s. I know you're a big skier, snowboarder, but like basically he talks about taking those things and doing that lavish thing, although it may cost a lot and you have to deduct that from other things you would spend money on, but you're going to get way more runs, and those runs are going to be way more enjoyable at 30 than they will be at 65. So he talks a lot about like giving to your younger, more like mobile, extravagant self and stealing from your older, less mobile, less extravagant self, if that makes sense. That was a long-winded answer, but
I like it. And it's now on my reading list, although I'm a little older already, so I might have missed out on some of that. But let's talk about failure, man. How has an apparent failure set you up for later success?
I mean, I have a bunch to choose from. So I'll go into our most recent one. My friend Mike Burns, Caleb Mariam, and myself, and Nate Hirschberg, we all went in on a multifamily project in Texas. I live in Washington, D.C. Mike lives in Salt Lake City and Caleb lives in Oklahoma. Or no, he lives in Missouri, sorry, and Nate lives in Charleston. But basically, I went super hard into multifamily. I thought that's what I wanted to do. And it turns out from an out-of-state operator standpoint, when you're taking DC class assets and trying to stabilize them, it's really difficult. So I definitely failed at stabilizing that. We all put money into it. I put the least amount in, and Mike Burns had the most in. And he was like, hey, man, I'm doing more work than I thought I was going to be. This isn't what I really thought. I thought like it ruined a friendship and like it was a massive failure, but he's like, hey man, like this is just, I think a win-win is if I just buy you out of your third, and we go for that. So took that money and invested into crypto and, see that doing something. One, I think it will potentially perform better. Obviously I don't get to capture the depreciation or the passive income in the short term, but I think crypto will perform better. And also you have to live a life that you want to like live, and being a multifamily operator, getting calls from tenants and calls from property managers and all this stuff isn't what I wanted generally, like deep down. So looking for more like passive ways to make income. And that was just an immediate kind of change I made.
What would you say is the most worthwhile investment that you have ever made?
Masterminds, education, investment in myself, going to classes, meeting people.
I want to hear about that because I'm with you 100%, as you know, because we met at a mastermind, but maybe our listeners, because they're a diverse group, maybe they don't get masterminds. Maybe they think masterminds are a scam, but that was the first thing that came out of your mouth. Why?
Well, I'll even go a step further and say what a mastermind is. So masterminds, basically, it doesn't have to be industry specific, but the ones that I've been in, the backbone or like the underlying feature that most people have in common is real estate. Ours is led by Mark Evans, DM. He's a great guy. And I just followed a lot of guys that were in the room and I wanted to get in that room. And there's a cost associated with that. But I guess the easiest way to put it is like, I just did one with Austin like last weekend. Yeah, last weekend in Fort Lauderdale. On the yacht. Yeah. Well, like, so I was the oldest one and I'm 32 and I was the oldest one in the room. And like, there's this 21-year-old kid there, Kyle. And it was his first mastermind. And he was like, this is going to be life-changing. I've never been on a yacht. He's like, I don't even know if he's been on the ocean. He was like from the Midwest and the closest body of water to him was the Lake of the Ozarks. But he said it best. I mean, like you don't know what you don't know. And if you surround yourself by people that are at the same level of you, you think you're doing really big things, but then there's a world outside of that. And you won't know that. Won't know that exists unless you get in a room like that. And yeah, it does cost a significant amount of money. But I mean, if you take that money like an investment and you make relationships with people in that room and you do business with them, I mean, no one in that room, if it's the right mastermind, is trying to screw you over. Everyone wants to see you succeed. And I think I'm one of the younger guys in that room specifically. Not that that's saying much, but I have a lot to look up to and gain. Like the ceiling's so high there. Like I see myself there 5-10 years, obviously those things, who knows the longevity of it, but like, I just have such a high ceiling to obtain to. And just even in, before I joined, I had one stream of income. Well, I mean, I had single family flips and then the multifamily, but now I have education, crypto. We're throwing events now, tons of JV partnerships. And then I teamed up with you. I want to launch. What I really want to do is something much more passive than real estate. Well, I'm going way ahead of myself, but basically there's a guy in that room named Stephen Gray, and he owns 3 companies that do excess of $80 million in revenue. And he has 150 employees. And I remember I think it was June, where we met at the Punderson Lodge in Cleveland, Ohio, just outside. And I was like, man, I really want to do e-commerce. Like he's like, back up a step. We meet virtually every month, every Tuesday. And he rarely came on the meetings, but on the first one I was on, it was the only one I've seen him on since. He was like, scaling a e-commerce business to $1 million in 12 months is easier than flipping a single family house. And that just stuck with me. And he has a supplement company, a tactical company, and he has a company called Be Fulfilled, where they basically, if you hit $1 million in revenue, they have the operations to scale you to 10 million, right? They have the workers, the warehouse, the space. Obviously this is your own channel. You can do Amazon and eBay and all that stuff concurrently, but he's been working me. He hooked me up with a supplier. I got samples. Now I'm like going kind of balls to the wall with that. But our real estate company, I have a partner in it. I mean, we scaled it to a point where it's pretty much outsourced. And a lot of our deals are coming from JV partners and we're like 50-50 on and all that stuff. But yeah, that's why a mastermind is so important, because I would have never had those opportunities had I not coughed up the dough and been like, yeah, this is going to change my life. And maybe to a fault, I do that too freely. I'm like, here's an event, here's $4,000, here's an event, here's 30 grand, here's an event, So, but yeah, I mean, if I would have been still living in a house with 4 dudes in Charleston, if I didn't join Tim Brass's mastermind, that led me to DM. So, I mean, it's just a snowballing effect when you start investing in yourself. I've seen it firsthand in personal development in a lot of guys that take the leap, guys and gals that take the leap in paying the cost to play,
Powerful, man. And it was great with the backstory, because I'm with you. Like if I could go back to 21-year-old me, that would be it. Invest in the environment, invest in the people. Like forget about education, forget about all that. Invest in the people, being in the room with people who think bigger. And you name guys that have been on the show, guys that are clients. Steve Gray's a client as well, DM, all of these guys. And so I don't think enough people know that. It's like, how do you get into this other dimension? You look for it and then you pay for it. It's so simple.
Yeah.
So I love it, man. So what would you say in the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
I mean, in addition to investing in myself, that's by far the biggest change. It just shows you the realm of possibilities. But I would say my morning routine, like 5 years ago, what's 5 years ago? 2016. I still was like self-employed then, but I was just kind of lost in like my entrepreneurship journey. And I'm like, I don't know what your morning routine looks like. I know I've seen you like go, I've seen the stories. I have a trainer, and 3 days a week I go there, and then your body like wakes up naturally. I meet with him 5 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, I just do cardio around here. And, that snowballs into listening to an audiobook afterwards while making coffee and cooking breakfast. So I'm eating good, listening to some higher level stuff and getting my body feeling right, which keeps me active, gives me more confidence in myself. And that just spring loads, like, then it's like, okay, all that's happened. If you look at that, that's more than most people do before they even wake up. So I'm like 3 hours ahead, and I can tackle things much easier because I already deadlifted a bunch. Like, what's worse than that, And then, but I will say then, like, you do hit a wall like 4 around this time. But yeah, I mean, it just keeps you going. That by far, you can knock out so much stuff before everyone wakes up,
There is a certain sense of pride in that, because I do see you in the morning getting it as well. So I appreciate that. So what would you say are some bad recommendations you hear in your area of expertise?
I just see a lot of people that like I used to look up to that they like will own a big brokerage, or they just pigeonhole themselves in an industry, which is fine. I totally get it. But like, from coming to real estate, like no one's truly, truly happy that you can think of being the biggest realtor in like Orlando. They can say they are, but that, I don't know. I just think that people can pigeonhole themselves and not give themselves the validity to grow in other things. And then also like, just being super cynical, just super limiting beliefs, and just allowing cynicism and negativity to seep into other areas of their life and just be pissed off all the time. And I've seen that a lot in like when a deal goes bad, or like when a string of deals go bad, and they just go on this like downward spiral of like self-doubt and like just cause a lot of chaos in the process. And then like year end happens and you're like, oh, you're not really moving the needle at all. And then it's just a snowball effect in the other way. By the way, those are the same guys and gals that are not investing in themselves, think that everyone else has it too easy. No, thinks that like other people in switching roles don't work hard enough. And it's just, And then I think at the end of the day, it comes down to not having like humility and not having like being super humbled. Like he did it because XYZ, or she did it because XYZ, but it's like, what if you were like, maybe they're talented in a way that I'm not, and maybe I could ask them a couple questions that would really help me rather than like be super cynical. So
that is an awesome tip. Have not heard that. The humility is huge. And that's what puts you into that room with the big fish where you're like, all right, I'm the little guy here. Now I got something to look up to. And I've been doing that for years. I know you're doing it. And that's why you're doing so well so quickly at such a young age, except for Austin's yacht trip. Obviously, we got 20-year-olds.
Austin's on another level. That guy's nuts.
Yeah. He's also been on the show. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for a public service announcement. We're going to get right back into this show, but I wanted to ask you a question. If you have been listening to the show for any amount of time and you've picked up even one single tip, then I need your help. Get the word out. Tell people about resultsleader.fm. Share it on social media. Share it on your email. Share it anywhere. #ResultsLeaderFM. Now let's jump back into the interview. So let's talk about results, man. Why do results matter?
Well, I mean, if you're in business, then I think that money is the ultimate result to an extent. Do you need a private chef? No, but it frees up a lot of your time, right? Do you need to fly first class? No, but it's nicer than flying economy and taking too long to get off the plane. So results matter because it changes the quality of your life. It improves your quality of life. It's like, I don't know, you can say results don't, but they do. And each one's completely different. Like my tolerance of risk might be completely different than yours, or like, the decisions that I make with my money might be completely different than yours. But at the end of the day, stuff's not getting cheaper. And the only way you're going to get it is if you put in the work for it. So that's why results matter. It improves your quality of life. Like why else do we get up in the morning,
In the last 5 years, what new realization has helped you get better results for your clients or for your team or for the people that you work with?
I think do a bunch of deals, and then we'll look at the deals that we either lost money, broke even, or took a small profit on. And then we look at the deals that we made a lot of money and were little effort, and all it took was maybe our expertise or some of our money, or just sign on like loans. And we just want to do more of those. And again, that relates back to doing less work, but making more money. And, like we just turned down a seller today that we probably could have made 15 grand on it, but it would have been a ton of headache. We would have had to do all this logistics. And then we look back on it, we're like, is that really worth it? And it wasn't. Our time was better spent not doing that. Like just the mental headspace, like peace of mind is what we're looking for now with the deal flow that we have and the streams of income that we have now. So like the realization of being like, okay, and you have to get to this point, right? It was like, I had to take those deals in the past. Like I wasn't able to say no to a lot of things, but yeah, it's just like, is this worth our peace of mind? No, it's not. Like, I don't want to keep talking to you every morning about the same deal. This is a conversation with my business partner, but yeah, I mean, it's just like kind of exactly what we've been hearing lately is like, what don't I want? Right? What do I not want? And it's like, yeah, I don't want to do deals with bad operators or with sellers that are going to be a massive, massive pain. So that it's like, what don't you want? Everyone knows kind of what they want, but they don't carefully execute a plan of what they don't want before. And then they just scale misery, and that's a lot what we did this year. I mean, we were just looking at the volume of deals we're doing. We're like, well, if we just did this one, we would have made a really nice income and it would have been like half the problems we would have had. And that would have been, we would have been way more happy, And so people often like just chase a number or chase volume and it just leads to unhappiness. So, but I mean, that's a journey in itself too.
Powerful. And I think that I'm starting to redefine what it means to be rich. And as I'm listening to you talk about it, I'm thinking being rich is having the ability to say no, say no to deals, say no to money, say no to the things you don't want. That's super powerful. I hope you guys rewind that and listen to it again. Scaling misery, quotable.
Yeah.
Love it. So what area of your business would you like better results?
And we're just scratching the surface on the subscription education model. So we have 14, I think we just lost one. We have 14 students right now paying $249 a month. And like, we can get that up to 50, that you take, I mean, I just keep going back to real estate, but you take what people are netting net, like taxes, high taxes on a home. That's not your primary, insurance, interest. And like, if the roof leaks or whatever, basically, if you take a rental property and you see the net of it, it's like, people are satisfied making $300. Obviously the equity pay down and like, in the long run, it appreciates, but people really chase that cash flow number. And it's like, well, I can scale that by doing a 1 hour Zoom call a week and having a bunch of students in the room and provide value to them. And they provide value to us too. Like this one guy is doing like crazy marketing and direct mail that we didn't even look at because we do cold calling, but we can get that up to like 50 people, no problem. In a way, like Matt Larson's coaching us, which you haven't heard of him, like I highly recommend you check him out in real estate, but he's always on us. Like, once we sold out our first event, well, this will be our second, but we sold out the second event and it took a lot of posts, like Austin can just do a story, 1 or 2 stories, but it took like us like 5 or 6 posts, but it was like 10 tickets and the tickets were 2,499, which like, this is just a muscle we're flexing at this point. Like we don't even know what we're capable of doing, but Matt just randomly was like, when's the next event? How many tickets did you sell? What are we doing next? How are we upselling this event? And it's just like, all right, let's go, So yeah, we're just scratching the surface on that stream of income. And it's been fun so far and learning how to sell too, right? Like good deals in real estate sell themselves, but when you're trying to sell yourself as an educator, I mean, that's good copy, good content. So learning that skill too has been like really interesting too. And it's crazy to see the engagement. Like it's kind of defining yourself, right? So like Matt is hands down one of the best copywriters I've seen and the most consistent. And that's a skill that I'm just probably, have 5th grade skills at, but it's getting better. And then like my business partner, he was like, dude, my copy, I think I posted too many bad things about Joe Biden. My copy, my engagement's going bad. I think I'm in Facebook jail. And like, politicians don't really care about anyone is my opinion on that. But he then shot a self-recording video, which is how he used to produce content. And the engagement was way more higher. So it's like talking to your audience in a way they want to consume it too. And that's constantly evolving too. That's constantly pivoting too. But we're just learning how to sell ourselves, basically.
Learning and growing. So what results are you most proud of?
Most proud of having a successful JV course is really cool because that allows us to scale without our time. So like just before this, we're scaling. We have 6 JV partners throughout the entire country, and that's a startup cost to us. And then we help them scale their business in real estate. That's something we're super proud of. The subscription-based education, I'm proud of that too. We'll see when crypto takes back off, but also the flips that we're doing. It's like, we're redefining like what works well and what doesn't. And we went from like 100K flips, rehabs to like 40K rehabs to 5K rehabs. Now we're getting bounced around like with the market. Like maybe we need to put more into this one, but more so, I guess, the JV partnerships, because that's fun seeing other people succeed. It's still work on our end, but we're not hounding sellers like our JV partners are. So it's like, yeah, it's a win-win for both parties. And I'm proud of that result so far. We'll see how this, and then, I mean, taking off the bald stuff too. Like, I'm really excited for this. Like, I don't know if you saw that video. I'll probably post it like Saturday morning to try to get a high engagement, but like, that's something like, I want to be talking to you this time next year and already have $1 million in revenue in male bald skincare, you know? I don't really know how to talk about that yet. Like, that journey is just happening, but I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. And I'm growing an audience and then launching a product, because the lead time on everything right now, especially to get compounded and formulated, is 4 to 6 months. So I need to use that time to grow. But yeah, that's something that I'm really excited about.
Man. So any parting thoughts you want to share with the results leaders who are listening to us right now?
The parting thought I would be is like, invest in yourself for sure. Like, if you're not, and there's levels to it, right? Like, I think you get 10 free credits with an Amazon Prime account with Audible. I could be wrong on that, but like, free audiobooks are out there. Like, you can actually listen to most podcasts, and you can listen to podcasts I know on Spotify with ads for free. And you can listen to YouTube videos, podcasts on YouTube for free. So like, there's so much free education there. So I would start there. And then if you want to go a step higher, it's like, there's people in your local area that are doing what you're doing. Like, maybe with the way things are, there are not as many active meetups in person, but like in most cities right now, there's active crypto meetups, or even like a car meetup, or whatever it is you want to do. There's people out there that are looking for someone like you to mentor. And there's people they're looking for a mentee, and there's people like you looking for mentors out there, and they're getting them. So I would start there and then gradually work your way up to like getting in rooms with people that own 7-8 figure businesses. And then once you're there, still continue getting results in what you're doing, but then like look for other opportunities and continue to network with bigger players that are capable of so much more. And they want to see you win as well. So just just continuing the conversation, getting in the right rooms that's what's led to my results. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that too. But
well, I'm right there with you, man. We have been talking to Brian Sigmon, and you haven't did you name the podcast? Can we drop the name? Because this is going to come out in the future. So why don't you drop the name of the show, man?
Yeah, the name of the show is The Baldcast. I was told that the audio would be bad because
for the
by
beginning.
John. Yeah, because I wasn't using my microphone properly, but now that I know how to use it, the audio is going to be way better. And we're filming YouTube skits. So it's going to be a male skincare brand, but we're also going to be doing funny skits called The Bald Lifestyle on YouTube. I followed too many people at once. They deleted my Instagram, but The Bald Lifestyle on Instagram, Bald Lifestyle on Facebook. And then I'm on, my Reddit name is Brian is Bald on r/bald. And then the podcast is The Baldcast. So
there it is. Well, I'm excited for you, and I'm grateful that you came on and shared some of your results with us. So thank you for that. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. And that is a wrap for another edition of ResultsLeader.fm. If you are out there getting results for your clients and you want to be featured on the show, go to ResultsLeader.fm now and apply to be on the show. And if you love what you're hearing, share the show, give us a rating and review, do anything to help us get the message out there. Thought leadership is easy, but results leadership is hard. We'll catch you on the next one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.